お、こんばんは。水飲みたいか？飲む? Smell my finger. Hey guys, it's me, Poppy, and today we're gonna start off with a new series on my channel about my experiences with various things, such as places I've gone to, games I've played, or just things I've done in general. It won't happen too often though because they do take time to make. Like this video right here. I think it took me 3 weeks just to write a script for it. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit. Now I've been wanting to make a video about my experiences in Japan for a long time now, so this is gonna be the topic of these first few videos about my experiences. So let's start. It was 2014, I was 14, and I joined the Japanese class. Not because I was interested in anime or the culture, but because I wanted to impress some girl that liked anime. I still lied by telling others I joined because I was interested in the culture though. As time went on though, I ended up falling in love with the culture. Fortunately, I ended up liking anime too. But this caused me to really want to go to Japan. A couple years passed, and in 2016 I learned that my high school had a thing where you could go to Japan for 2 weeks as a school trip. As you'd probably expect, I hopped on that instantly. Only thing was that it was winter when I signed up, but the trip wasn't until spring. Eventually spring came by and it was time to go. I remember not being able to sleep the night before the trip. I was too excited, but I was also feeling anxious. The thought of me being in a country with no one I knew terrified me. I'm an extremely shy person in case you didn't know. I think we had about 14 people on that trip and I only kinda knew one person. When I got to the airport, I was a wreck. I was shaking and couldn't even speak correctly. Can't speak correctly normally, dude. But then one of the parents of one of the students on the trip told me everything was gonna be alright and that it was gonna be fun. And then they told their kid to hang out with me. Honestly, it kinda made me feel embarrassed, but you know, it was kinda comforting knowing that someone was gonna be looking out for me. He actually became a really good friend of mine and I'm actually really grateful for that. Ayo, thank you, Nathaniel. Love you, bro. And then we got on the plane. To my surprise, we actually had a layover in South Korea. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the currency exchange, so I couldn't get any souvenirs. But I did get some funky pictures, though. Our first stop in Japan was Osaka. It was around 9 PM when we landed. By that point, we were awake for about 20 hours, something like that. But I was kinda really pumped about being in Japan, so I wasn't even tired. It was as if all my worries and anxiety were just washed away. The first thing we did was go to the hotel. We quickly left after dropping off our luggage and then we walked to a convenience store called Sunkus. Looks like this, have you seen it? Actually, it's called Sunkus. I think I bought a pork bun and a Coke. The walk to and from the store felt pretty unreal to me. I was still trying to process the fact that I was in Japan. That place I've always wanted to go to really bad. I'm really here! I was actually amazed with how beautiful everything was to me. This was all new to me. I've never been to anywhere like this. I felt like I was in uncharted territory. Here's a video of me walking around. I just wanted to explore everything the second I arrived. Thing is, it was around 10:30 at night and we had to get up early in the morning, so we went to the hotel and passed out. The next day I was the first to wake up, so I looked outside and was amazed with how gorgeous it was out there. It was a beautiful experience, but then I ended up having a terrible experience in the bathroom. Nothing could have prepared me for how small those hotel bathrooms were. The shower was fine, but I'm pretty sure I banged my funny bone on every surface imaginable, just trying to get my clothes on and brush my teeth. Look at the breast on these tanuki. Oh my, what fine balls you have. After everyone was up and ready, we immediately went to the airport to take a train to Kyoto. But before we got on the train, we had some time to kill, so we all decided to split up into smaller groups to get some breakfast. I ended up following Nathaniel around and 2 other students that joined along. Those 2 students being Kyle and Sawyer. I loved this group. We were the boys, but I still didn't really know them at first, so I was still being shy around them. We were originally gonna get some udon to eat, but somehow we ended up getting sushi. I still wonder how things would have ended up if I started my first day in Japan with the Bukake udon. I was actually scared of eating sushi though. I've never had it before, so I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not. But I told myself I wasn't gonna be picky with food. I chose to order the tuna nigiri and I was in awe as it came to my table on a little train car. As soon as I bit into the sushi, I gained a new love for it. It might actually be the reason why I work at a sushi restaurant now. That and because Kyle actually worked at the restaurant at the time too. After we finished our food, we met up with Morihara-sensei, Fujimura-sensei, and the rest of the group, and then we boarded the train to Kyoto. I do wish I could have spent more time in Osaka though. I really want to explore there more. The first thing we did in Kyoto was store our luggage at the train station. Ah, I love Robot. Then we went to Imeji and went to a mall there. Morihara-sensei gave us about an hour to wander around, so we split up into groups and I went along with Kyle, Nathaniel, and Sawyer. We saw some pretty cool things like this stuffed boar and this Hello Kitty cafe. Look, a Kappa penis! While we were walking, Kyle told us that he was actually on the previous Japan trip and knew a good ramen shop nearby, so he took us. Their ramen was delish. I was actually never a big fan of ramen until I had this ramen. Yeah, I'll just go toss that up in S tier real quick. There was actually a funny interaction in the ramen shop where the cook thought Nathaniel was Japanese. Like, this guy really hoped that he was Japanese. He's not Japanese. The guy was really nice though. We ended up getting our food 5 minutes before we had to meet up with Morihara-sensei, and I don't think I've eaten something so hot so fast before. My tongue did go numb, but we did make it. Once we met up with Morihara-sensei, he started leading us to Himeji Castle. The walk there was actually really nice, and there were food stands everywhere and all sorts of mini shops. I saw a taiyaki stand on the way there, and I never had it before, but I really wanted to try it because it looked good, but we were in a hurry to the castle, so I didn't get any. Also, by the way, Himeji Castle is huge. Look, you can see that all the way from the train station. Walking to the castle was a hike already. Inside the castle felt like hell getting to the top. The stairs were actually really steep, and you were able to actually hit your head on the ceiling going up the stairs. It would make a little bonk noise if you did. Morihara-sensei ended up telling me that was the type of defense mechanism back then. I make it sound miserable, like I hated everything, but no, I loved it all, just so you know. Like, it was a really fun experience. Anyways, once you made it to the top, it was really worth it because there's this big bell you can ring and the view up there is something else. Anywhere high up in Japan actually has an amazing view, to be honest. By the way, it's just as hard to go down the castle as it is to get up. Once we got down from the castle, we had to head back to the train station to go to Fushimi Inari. I absolutely loved the walk back to the station though. It was that time of day when the sun looks golden and it's not too cold or hot. And then there was that shine on the buildings, and there was this Australian guy that saw my hat fall from my backpack and picked it up for me. And it's the things like that that I really love. By the time we got to Fushimi Inari, it was already almost sunset. I remember the train station being kinda empty when I got there, and the kid accidentally taking my ticket out of the ticket reader and me being too shy to ask for it back, but then the dad realized and handed it back to me. That was so awkward. Still am. Stepping outside of the station had an entirely different feel to it. It was like, sort of aesthetic in a way. Everything here is aesthetic. The entrance to Fushimi Inari was gorgeous. It felt mystical. The whole area felt mystical. By the way, Fushimi Inari is one of the most beautiful places I went to in Japan. It's actually one of my favorites. Like, I could easily spend all day there. Like, everything there is entrancing. It has a special charm to it. I hope in the future I actually have an opportunity to go all the way up the path there, because every time I've gone, I've always had a short time frame, so I could never go all the way. I actually got lost on my way back down the mountain because I decided to follow a cat I found. It may have been my first time getting lost in Japan, but it certainly wasn't my last. I eventually found my way back down, and I met up with a good amount of the group near the front gate. We were all starting to get a little hungry, so we walked to a convenience store to get some food. If you know me, you know I'm a sucker for bread, so I came walking out with like 2 to 3 packs of melon bread. We spent about 10 minutes inside, so I was kinda expecting everyone to be back by the time we all came out, but there was one student missing. Turns out the student was trying to go all the way to the top, so Morihara had to fetch him while the other teacher, Fujimura-sensei, stayed with us. Honestly though, I can't even blame the student for trying to go all the way to the top. It's stunning there, but he was also the reason why we were late for the train we're gonna take. Once we got back to the train station in Kyoto, we got our luggage and took a taxi to the youth hostel we were gonna stay at. I can't say I was prepared for the night I was gonna have there, but it was really fun. I couldn't believe how beautiful it was at the hostel. I'm starting to think everything here is beautiful. When we got to our rooms, we unpacked and were free to do whatever we wanted in the hostel. The boys and girls were split up into 2 different rooms, obviously. I wasn't exactly tired, so I went to the lobby to hang out and use my phone because it was the only place with Wi-Fi, and I didn't have service while I was in Japan. Kyle was with me in the lobby, but I didn't really talk to him because I was still shy. While we were sitting on the couches, a French guy asked if I'd like some chocolate, but I declined because I wasn't sure if it had nuts or not. I'm allergic to nuts, by the way. He then introduced himself. His name was Kevin, and then asked where we were from. I'm from America, in case you didn't know. We started talking more, and eventually Kyle, Kevin, and his friends and I all went into the dining area to hang out. By this point, they were all tipsy from drinking and offered me and Kyle some Japanese beer. Now that was something I didn't decline. I was 16 and had no parents around me. Of course I was going to try some. It was a lot of fun talking to them. They even wanted to exchange stereotypes Americans have for France and vice versa. We were all laughing and having fun, you know how it is. They even taught us some French words like boulangerie, which means bakery. The thing is, when Kevin told me that, I only caught the lingerie part and I was like, huh? After that, they had us play this game thing where you would raise someone above you and pass them behind you and add it to a line until everyone got to the end. It feels weird telling it, so I'll just show you a video of us doing it. We were all being a little loud, so the staff had to tell us we needed to be quieter. Once we were all done with that, though, we all sat at a table and watched Kevin and one of his friends dance. It was really entertaining, but it was starting to get late, so we all had to go to bed soon. But before we all left, we all added each other on Facebook and took an amazing group photo of us all holding Kevin. I don't know how I ended up being the person holding his feet, but it happened and I'm still embarrassed when others ask why I'm doing that. But it is one of the most memorable parts of my first visit to Japan, and I'm glad I got to experience this interaction. The next day was really busy for us because we were going all over. We started the day with me walking around the hostel trying to find out where to take a shower and get ready for the day, and then we had breakfast. Then we took a bus to Kinkakuji. But before we left, me and Kyle did say goodbye to Kevin and his friends because they were leaving that day. I remember once we got to Kinkakuji, it was actually fairly packed. It took us a bit to get to the entrance, but once we got there, Morihara-sensei gave us all a ticket to enter. I thought the ticket looked cool, so I kept it as a souvenir. This may have also started my random collection of different pieces of paper / brochures from different areas in Japan. Who let me do this? Huh, so these are the consequences of my actions. Once we were all in the garden, we gathered by the pond to look at that golden pavilion. Here's me, standing in front of it. I'm not the most photogenic person. After everyone got their pictures, we started walking closer to the pavilion. While walking alongside the pond, I noticed that it was filled with koi. Well, time to go fishing. When we got closer to the pavilion, I was able to see the golden bird at the top better. Instantly brought back memories of catching Ho-Oh at the bell tower in Pokemon Heart Gold. This place probably looks stunning in the fall time. We continued walking the path around the place, and there were these stones with Buddha carved into them, and there was a small metal bowl in front of them too. And surrounding that bowl were tons of coins. People were trying to throw coins into that tiny bowl, and then I tried throwing coins into that tiny bowl.
I love you.
Three more years. Nope. I'm not good at this.
I stopped after like 5 coins. I have terrible aim. Continuing along the path, we wound up by these tiny shops and what looked to be a shrine. I bought a fortune from the shrine, by the way, but I can never read them because I'm awful with kanji. Some of the students found an ice cream machine and got some, but nothing really appealed to me at the time. That was until we continued walking to the exit and I saw a place selling swirled green tea and vanilla ice cream cones. I was about to buy one, but then Fujimura-sensei got to the stand first and bought it for me instead. And I was like, ooh woo, arigato sensei. After we left, we immediately started walking towards Ryoanji. The walk there was nice. I am a big fan of walking by buildings after all. I love buildings. I don't really remember too much about Ryoanji when I was there, but I did see a duck. We were in and out of the place pretty fast, like we probably spent only 30 minutes in there at most. I do remember some things, like how I really liked the inside of the building and how I got a picture of a girl trying to eat another person's hair while I was taking a picture of the rock garden. Look at her, she's ready to dig in! There were also these stairs that I remember because it's sort of where I actually started talking to Nathaniel more. I think I was telling him about the French people from the night before. After we were done with Ryoanji, most of us got onto a bus to go into the city. I say most because Fujimura-sensei took 2 girls to do something called the geisha experience. It was something you could have signed up for and they would put you in makeup and a dress and boom, you'd come out looking like a geisha. When we got into the city, we were all kinda hungry, so Morihara-sensei took us to a place called Gusto. I was gonna order the tonkatsu, but they ran out, so I ordered the cheese hamburg steak. That was the greasiest burger I've ever had. I needed something to wash that down. And that's when I met her, my secret lover, Melon Fanta. Kyle came back to the table with a green drink and I was like, whoa, what is that? And he's like, Melon Fanta. So I shoot up from the table to get some. The stuff was so green, like it was so strange to me. How can something be that green? I don't know, but I sipped it and I was like, Oh, me? I'll take the finest thing you own. The Malone Fanta. Cost me $15 a bottle. Quite delightful. Is that melon? It has occurred to me that this stuff doesn't show well on a green screen because it is green. But here it looks like. Here's the bottle. After we were done with our food, I was eager to walk off that grease pile I ate, and that's what we did. It was nice walking around a city that's not damp and smelly. Seattle. Ugh, had something in my throat. I even got to see the Colonel in real life. I also found a bakery that said Boulangerie. I sent a photo to Kevin as soon as I had Wi-Fi. Soon it was time to head to Kiyomizu, but this time we were taking taxis, so we had to split into smaller groups. Sawyer, Rosie, and I crammed into a taxi, and Morihara-sensei gave the driver the address. I trusted Morihara to give the right address, but guess what? This man right here gave the driver the wrong address, and we got dropped off in some random location we didn't know.
We were never seen again.
Here's a picture of me and Sawyer posing while Rosie's calling Morihara. Fortunately, we were only a 10-minute walk away from where we were supposed to meet him. When we got to Morihara, the rest of the group was basically done looking around, so we started walking to Kiyomizu Deta. The walk there was the biggest highlight of my day. I loved the cute little shops, and everything there was really pretty. I was taking pictures the entire way there. I took photos of the buildings, scenery, a no smoking sign, and a popular stairway that everyone takes pictures of. About halfway through the walk, we met up with Fujimura-sensei and the two girls that went with her. I didn't even recognize the girls at first. That makeup was pretty good. I don't have any photos of them, but they look like this. During the last stretch to the temple, I remember entering a lot of shops because there were a lot of cool things like masks, snacks, and little souvenirs. I remember really wanting a fox mask, but I couldn't find one that appealed to me. I don't think I actually bought anything there except gifts for family and friends. When we were finally making it to Kiyomizu Deta, I was stunned. It was gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I was surprised with how big the structures were, and the view of the city was stunning. I already said that. I think I said stunned like at least 3 times today. Hold on, let me find out the source. Huh, okay. The view of the city was remarkable. Sensational even. Even, may I say, smashing? I was in awe the entire time walking around. It felt unreal. Everything was perfect. The orange pagodas, the golden sun, the bluish pink sky. I was in love with it all. It was enough to make me just forget about everything and live in the moment. But I do wish I took more pictures, or at least recorded a video of me going around. I do have a video of Sawyer doing this though. I'm gonna say the same thing I said with Fushimi Inari. I could stay here all day. But it was time to leave. I wish my phone could take better pictures at night, because these shops with their lights looked really pretty at the time. My phone was snapping pictures left and right. Here's a picture of me and Sawyer. After passing all the shops, the teachers had us get on a bus to go back into the city. I was super excited because I love cities. I love night. I love cities at night. I'd walk around Kyoto all night if I could. The lights fill me with excitement, kinda like a moth in a way because, I get attracted to them. When we got there, Morihara-sensei let us split up into groups to do our own thing for a bit. The first thing Kyle, Nathaniel, Sawyer, and I did was go to KFC because we were hungry again. Now, my Japanese wasn't the best, but I thought I could at least order food with no problems. I was looking at the menu and the only thing I knew how to say was chicken nugget, so I asked for a 4-piece chicken nugget. Then the worker looked at me in confusion and held up 5 fingers, and then I was confused and just said yeah, and then a few minutes later they bring me a 4-piece chicken nugget. And I still think about it because I wonder what I did wrong and didn't understand. After that, we went clothes shopping at Uniqlo. I bought an oversized shirt and a jacket that became part of my normal fit there. Only reason the shirt was oversized was because I originally was buying it for a friend, but then I decided I really liked it, so I kept it and bought him something different. After shopping, it was time to regroup with everyone and get on a bus back to the hostel. And that was the end of my first 3 days in Japan. These first 3 days really showed me the beauty of Japan. I was surprised with how much Japan gave me in the first few days. I mean, before I got there, I was anxious and scared, but within a short time I was introduced to new friends, gorgeous scenes, and amazing experiences. There's nothing I would trade these memories for. They're that precious to me. And this is gonna be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.